If I had to pick something that the state could work to change that I think would be hugely beneficial, is centering youth in the decisions that they're making and reestablishing that sense of agency. If you can reorient the system to be focused on them and working the system to their goals, we might see some more success. Grew up mostly, like my brothers and I, in East Tennessee and in South Texas, like a few minutes from the border. We moved like every 9 months or so, so it was basically like whenever the lease was over, we probably had to find somewhere else that was cheaper. We grew up very poor. For that reason, I can't really like pick a hometown, like, okay, I grew up here, but within those regions, we just moved from city to city, from neighborhood to neighborhood. And there was like a lot of turmoil, like within myself and like within my family. There was like, you know, a lot of like unresolved trauma growing up. My initial departure from the home was when I was 14, and it was due to circumstances of my own creation. Like, I was involved in my environment in a way that was not conducive to my success. And I needed an exit, even though I didn't realize it at the time. I needed to leave before my actions caused me to create a path that I couldn't turn back from. That was reflected in my entrance into this system. The first placement that opened up that I was eligible for was a higher security placement, what's called a YDC, a Youth Development Center, which is basically like a youth jail. I didn't think I should be there. I didn't want to be there. I felt like I was being punished for doing what I was supposed to. I turned 16 while I was there, and a little bit before my 17th birthday, I stepped down into a group home environment. And from there, like, I worked my way down into a foster home setting. Confronting that was hard, but necessary. And after I did that and I moved forward, I created a different path. And, you know, my way to do that was through education. So as I transitioned out of these high security placements, closer and closer towards adulthood, my time in the foster care system was very much a time of building. I started to discuss just like future plans, like, where do you want to go to school? Is that even a thing you want to do? Like, where are you going to be living? Do we need to find you a housing program? Things like that. And that was like my re-involvement with youth villages, and that was where I really stayed involved. They helped me like find a placement there, find a job within the community. They helped me kind of like do the preparations of applying for school, getting my transcripts together to where I started at Nashville State. They've had a lot of impact in providing stability and providing, you know, support in navigating a lot of uncertain systems. As far as money goes, I know that it can't stay that way forever. Eventually I'm gonna have to pay rent. Eventually I'm gonna have to do this. I knew that coming in, but for right now, all I have to focus on is putting myself in the best position possible to where later on that's not gonna be as big of a barrier. I have the end goal in mind of independence, and I have a path to get there that was built by the funding of these programs. There was a lot of people at different points in my life that recognized my potential and my drive and responded to that. They're like, what are you doing? Like, get your shit together. And they didn't do much more than like just talk to me about it, but I needed that because most people were just telling me what to do. And for them to ask like, well, what do you want to do? It was like a paradigm shift to have those types of conversations instead of just like, what are you going to do to meet these goals that somebody else wrote for you, you know? And Richard Garvin, he was a professor at Nashville State. I don't know if he even realizes how big of a role he played in my education, but I was very much caught up in the doubt of like achieving things that are not associated with people in my circumstances. And he was very much focused on who I was and not what my circumstances were and my potential for success. So it allowed me to confront my own actions and build a vision of what it could look like to get there. Like, you're kind of catching me in like a transformative moment of where my whole life has been shaped by my experiences and my goals have been shaped by them. Everything I'm working towards is breaking down the barriers and creating new avenues of development and change and success for young adults in my situation. When I graduate in May of the year after next, I will be in a position to where I can find my place in the world and I'm not being like dragged down by poverty and by lack of opportunities that I probably would have struggled with had I not been given any of these opportunities.